So a lot of people have asked me about the audition process for the national tour. So figured I might as well talk about that a little bit. It was a little different for me, just because of where I am in my life. I'm not 22 years old, it was kind of a little bit of a different process for me. So the first thing that happened was in June. My agent sent me a breakdown for an audition for a video submission for the part of Emile. Now, those of you who know the show know that Emile is the romantic lead, right? He's the French landowner on the island, and immediately I went, Emile, like that's not me. I'm the first one to admit that I am not the leading man romantic type, okay? And it's a big singing role. I can sing, obviously, but I would classify myself not as a singer, but as an actor who can sing, which works well for me because, when you look like this, you get more roles if you can sing because not many guys who look like this can sing. I know my place, you know what I mean? Well, like my agent was like, yeah, Emile, no, you're a Billis, like you're a Luther Billis. My wife was like, you're a Billis. I'm like, I don't know. They're asking me to do Emile. So I sent that off. Didn't hear anything. 5-6 weeks, whatever. Forgot about it. And then I get another breakdown from my agent, and it's for the part of Billis. And so what this told me was a couple things. First of all, yes, I was not right for that part because they weren't interested in me in that part. But two, they had in the past 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, had been looking for a Billis and had not found one yet. This came with a lot of sides, 7-8 pages of dialogue heavy sides, and had to do a song of my choosing, fortunately. And so I sent that all off, and again, forgot about it. The next week, or a couple days later, my agent calls and says, they loved you. They want to know if you can come out to New York for an in-person audition on the 22nd. Which meant that I would have to pay my own way, pay my own hotel to get out there and do this audition. My answer, in short, was no. And not because I didn't want to, because this was a great opportunity. I mean, it was, 2 national tours for one, and only 6-month tour instead of the, normal 10 to 12 months. So this was like a great opportunity. It wasn't that I didn't want to or didn't appreciate it. It was just that I had a vacation planned that week that my wife and I had been planning. And I'm sorry, but for me, it's family first. And it would be essentially canceling that vacation to go on a job interview. And I just couldn't bring myself to do that. And I said, I said, I'm sorry, tell them thank you. I can't do it that week. I simply can't. My wife comes first. She's the most important thing to me. And I can't disappoint her. Side note, we had already moved another vacation because of my business and my career. And so I was like, I'm not doing this to her again. I'm sorry. No, I can't do that to her. She is the reason why I'm able to do this. So I said, I'm sorry. No, of course, my agent was like, you're crazy. Both my agents were like, you're crazy. My dad was like, you're crazy. What are you doing? This is a great opportunity. And listen, it wasn't lost on me. I was really kind of bummed that I wasn't going to be able to go and do that. A couple days later, my agent calls me and she says, they're going to move the audition for you. They're going to put it on the 15th. Can you make the 15th? And I said, yes, I can make the 15th. And she said, and they're going to pay your airfare, which I immediately went, whoa, I guess they really want me. I was very thankful for their generosity in doing that. And obviously, they really liked me. I was clearly the right person for this role. So then they call me up and they say, my agent's assistant calls me and says, okay, I'm doing your flights. What do you want? I said, don't put me on an early bird. I don't want to have to fight LA traffic to get to the airport, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I don't want to have to rush. Just get me on an afternoon flight. I'll come in late into New York. I'll spend the night. My audition was at 11:30 the next morning at a casting office on Broadway. So it was great. So I got to the airport, got to my hotel, got up in the morning, was able to run my lines, and then I just walked over to the casting offices on Broadway, walked in, great crew of people, really nice. It was me and one other person that were the only people there to audition. The director, Jeffrey, was just a really sweet guy. And I had really nice talk with him, and I got to meet the production manager and the casting director, and the producers were there on Zoom, and there's no other way to say this. That's not going to sound pretentious, but I nailed it. Like, I just crushed that audition. I knew my stuff. In fact, when I was walking in, the casting assistant was like handing me sides, and she's like, "Here's your sides," and I was like, you know what? I don't need them. I don't want them. I don't want to hold them. I don't want to rely on them. I don't want that crutch. I just want to, focus. And I crushed it, and it was great. And so I went back, and landed in LA. And my agent called me, and she said, you must have had just one foot out the door. They were already on the phone offering you the job. And I said, all right, what are we asking for? They gave us the contract to sign. We countered and gave them a list of our expectations. They agreed to all of them. I signed on the bottom line. I guess that's it. We're going on tour. Here we go. Luther Billis on the national tour South Pacific. It's exciting. I can't wait. But on the other hand, too, there's a part of me, and I'm being honest here. I don't like the idea of leaving LA for 6 months, because, I've spent the past several years building up relationships with casting directors in LA. And I've got some big casting directors that are calling me in regularly now. And in LA, out of sight, out of mind. If you're gone for a long period of time, that's it, man. Like, they'll forget about you, and then you got to start from scratch when you get back. So that kind of really scared me. Fortunately, this is timing out in a really good way that I'm not going to miss, the series season. So it's just everything kind of really fell in place the right way. But I also don't like the idea of leaving my wife for 6 months and, leaving home for 6 months. It doesn't really appeal to me, at this point in my life, but I get how important it is to my career and my resume. So this kind of push-pull, this tug of war that's going on. So all that to say that if everything didn't fall in perfectly into place, I was okay with walking away from the deal. I would have walked away and said, no, thank you, I appreciate the opportunity, but no, thank you. I absolutely would have done that, and I think that's the key. I wouldn't go into, if you're offered a national tour, going into it and saying, I'm going to say no, and then they're going to offer me more. That can backfire on you really, really badly. And for me, it was a genuine thing where I didn't want to, I wasn't going to risk, my vacation and my relationship with my wife at all. Not that it would. She's a wonderful human being. It wouldn't have affected our marriage or anything. But just for me personally, family first was my own moral compass that I wasn't going to negotiate with. And I was okay with walking away from it. And I was genuinely okay with that. It hurt, but I was willing to do it. And it's the same with, signing the contract. I wasn't not going to sign that contract unless, things were the way that I felt comfortable with going on the road for 6 months. I wasn't going to be uncomfortable on the road for 6 months. It just wasn't worth it to me. So I would have walked away from it. Fortunately, they were very gracious and willing to work with me because it's a huge opportunity and they're a great company and I've heard great things about them and I'm very excited about it. I'm glad it worked out. On the backside of my brain, I'm like, oh, this is going to be rough, and it's not all peaches and cream, but it's exciting. I'm going on tour. I'm national tour, playing Luther Billis in, the South Pacific. Yee! Like crazy, right? I can't. If somebody had told me 2 years ago, oh yeah, you're going to be on the national tour playing Luther Billis in the South Pacific, I'd have been like, yeah, get out of here. You're crazy, man. That's never going to happen. And here we are. So exciting stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll get back to you with more stuff later.